the Amazon building in Detroit. It's so amazing that a billionaire came and built a brand new building without doing anything with the old ones.
The world around us was created before we were born. We didn't choose it, but it's here. From a young age, we are taught to fit in, how to make it in this modern world.
Modern day society tells us how to behave, and we are led to believe that we have no other choice. External materialism is how we value our existence, and so we work our entire lives in this system in order to find our place and to gain our value.
In actual fact, only a few people have decided how the rest of us should live, leaving our fate rested in the hands of the ultra-rich who have only shown motive for self-interest. Profit-driven and power motives have been at the core of world affairs for a long time, devaluing our lives as humans instead of increasing our well-being as humanity.
As a people, we have been separated from our connection to the earth, only looking at her as a resource to be extracted for short-term gain. With such limited foresight, the same opportunities to experience the vibrancy of Earth that existed in the past no longer exist today.
If we continue down this path, there will be nothing left for the future generations.
Back in the early 1900s, Detroit's manufacturing industry was booming. People from all over America were coming to Detroit because there was good, well-paying jobs. What people perceived was a good way of making a living, to put food on the table and to buy nice things.
The history of Detroit is well known. A city which was once the powerhouse of industry, now has been left behind to rot, with no real answers of how to clean it up.
Today, another billionaire just arrived in Detroit.
In fact, he is the richest man in the world.
Building a massive shipping facility, actually just not far from our house. On the surface, it looks great. It's like he's coming in to rejuvenate the city, to uplift spirits.
However, the similarities between this and the past mistakes that have been made in Detroit are undeniable. Are these the only answers that we need to settle for? Or is it time to start learning from the past mistakes? Well, let's find out. We're going to take you around Detroit today.
There's an old car.
Looks like an old Fisher car. So when I look at buildings like this, I always wonder what used to be here. This was beautiful, pristine nature. We're just off of the Detroit River. The Detroit River connects the Great Lakes to the St. Lawrence all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. This all connects. There used to be bears here, there used to be wolves here, there used to be deer everywhere. But with buildings like this, all that nature was removed for short-sighted thinking. Like, this is indigenous land. This is the traditional territory of the Potawatomi tribe. Their territory is here in southeastern Michigan. They were removed, the land was removed, the trees were removed, the animals were removed for this. For a vacant, contaminated building that has no use for today.
It's actually quite eerie walking past it, hearing all the metal shaking and creaking around. It's a bit of a windy day today. Just standing outside this building with our son makes me think about when we're building buildings like this, we're not thinking about the future generations. We're not thinking about the impact that buildings like this has on these neighborhoods, has on our children and our children's children and the future generations. We're only thinking about making cars, profiting now, and well, let's just leave this waste and leave the problems that we built, leave them for the generations to come, and leave them for our kids to figure out what to do with this building.
We're on to the next one.
Not see this sewer when we were running across.
Almost fell in. So we're standing in front of the famous Packard plant. This is a 3.5 million square foot building. They used to manufacture cars, and then during World War II, they actually stopped manufacturing cars and turned it into an airplane manufacturer. It was built in 1911 and has been vacant since 1958. Here you go. It's just been sitting here, rotting away. It goes all the way down for blocks. Goes down for blocks that way and goes down for blocks that way.
How many people worked here? You know, it's a 3.5 million square foot building. Well, about 40,000 people actually worked here at one time. When we think of 40,000 people employed, initially we're like, yay, great, that's so amazing. But what are they actually doing for their life?
This is hard work. Manufacturing is hard work. And what happens when the industry goes belly up? Everyone's out of the job. And what gets left behind? This gets left behind.
When you're working in a job like this, you're acquiring skills and knowledge for a job like this. So when this job goes away, as all of the jobs in Detroit went away when the manufacturing industry collapsed, then everybody is left without a job and without knowing of how they can get a new job, because all the skills they've acquired were for this job that's not there anymore. Jobs like this, where you go to work during the day, you work, you grind, you work away, and then you go home and you live your life in the hours that you don't work. And a lot of us spend a lot of our life working. So that means that we're not spending a lot of our life living.
So if we value our lives based on jobs, what happens when that goes away? We lose the value in ourselves. Just like buildings like this. Buildings that have no value anymore, and look what it does. It just gets left behind to rot. So what's more important to you? A job or your life? What are you defined by? Your job or who you are?
So we're just driving along and we see another huge
massive building.
And what's a different one?
And now we're standing in front of the Ford Model T plant. The Model T was the very first affordable car that each individual could buy. And this building is where the assembly line was introduced for mass production.
It was one person's idea to make the car affordable for everybody by using a manufacturing line. Smart idea, yes. But when we actually think about it, what has that created for our lives? We think that where everybody can have a car so everything can be convenient. Well, what actually happened was that Henry Ford got rid of all of the public transport out of Detroit. So what does that mean? Everybody has to buy cars now. And everybody having to buy cars has just separated us all from each other.
So yeah, great. We all each have our own car. But now we're driving 45 minutes to work, 45 minutes back, and then during this, what's that doing to our stress levels? Constantly being on the road. Why do we need to drive 45 minutes to an hour and a half to work? and be stuck in traffic the whole time when there could be public transport. We could be reconnecting with each other as human beings. But instead we're stuck inside our cars, driving next to each other, honking at each other, flicking people off. This is destroying our connection with each other. And as human beings, we need that connection. So here is another building, this brand new giant building that's come in for today's industry, shipping, Amazon Prime.
It's the same concept as the Model Ts and all these manufacturing companies, that we think we're producing something, we're creating something that will benefit humans, make our life easier. That's the exact same thing that is happening here with Amazon. There's all these things that we think will make our life easier get shipped to our house. But what's really happening? We're pillaging the land for all of this crap that we don't even need. Then we're putting people into crap jobs to deliver us our crap. And then we're leaving behind buildings like this in an industry that we don't need.
What's going to happen with this building? It's inevitable. It's only going to be in use for so long, and then it's going to be left behind like the rest of the buildings we showed you, left for the next generations to figure out. So there's still, even today, after all this stuff, we still have no foresight for the next generations. So we're meant to believe that Amazon's coming into Detroit to save us. They're providing us with $15 an hour jobs. But is that what we've reduced ourselves to? $15 an hour jobs? We need to start believing in ourselves. We're worth more than $15 an hour. That's barely going to put food on the table.
Well, there you have it. We've brought you down around Detroit. We've showed you what's happened to all the past industries that arrived in the city, and we've shown you the new industry that is underway.
And the people we look to for answers. Right now we look to billionaires. They have all the resources. They have all the power. They have all the influence. Our leaders look to these billionaires. So they allow them to come into our cities and build stuff. But they're building stuff when there's a whole city full of buildings already that need to be cleaned up, that can be cleaned up and repurposed. And now we're making the same mistakes, adding to the mistakes. So future generations are going to have even more problems to deal with.
It makes us think, are these the people that we want to be listening to? Because it doesn't seem like they actually have our lives in mind. So what can we do about this? Well, the very first thing that we need to do as a people is start believing in ourselves. Start trusting that we are worth more than these low-paying, low-skilled jobs.
Once we start believing in ourselves, all this stuff starts to go away. Because right now, we only value ourselves based on our job. And it's because of that, we allow these structures to continue to come in, to continue to destroy our land, to continue to destroy our neighborhood, to continue to devalue our lives and ourselves. And that's where our belief is in. Our belief is in these current structures. And until we change that belief into ourselves and start to understand that we ourselves are beautiful and amazing people.
And powerful spirits.
And once we start to feel that and believe that, all this other stuff changes, because we don't settle for this type of behavior. We don't settle for people coming in and taking advantage of cities, taking advantage of the people.
We need to stop dismantling these structures that we have in our mind. We all have unique gifts within us. And if we just gave ourselves the opportunity to discover what those unique gifts are, we would know that we are worth more than these low-paying manufacturing and Amazon jobs.
And it's not just low-paying jobs either. How many people do we know that have a great job, but they still feel empty inside? They still lack something inside. This is because we don't believe in ourselves. We believe in the system. We believe in the structures that are put in place for us. It's that unique gift that gives us purpose, and each and every single one of us have purpose. And our purpose isn't to settle for these structures that devalue our lives. So we must dismantle these beliefs. And by doing so, we'll dismantle the structures around us, and we'll start to discover who we are, what our purpose is, and everything else around us becomes more vibrant.
If you've liked this video and you are ready to discover your unique gift because you're just done with devaluing yourself, we've created a free workshop for you.
It's called Ignite Your Dream. It's only 1 hour, and in it, you're going to start to tickle that feeling inside you, that feeling that's calling for more because it wants you to wake up and discover your purpose.
If you want to sign up for the workshop, we have added the link in the description below. Be sure to like our video and subscribe because there are many more on the way to you.